This week we're going to talk about
ants!
The boys recently got an ant farm, and it doesn't come with ants inside because it's on the shelf at the store for a long time. You have to order the ants, and then you won't believe this, they come through the mail. So we finally got our ants, and today the boys are going to put the farm together and put the ants inside. Then we're going to take a walk around outside and look for ants in the wild.
Let's see here. How do we open this thing?
Oh, I didn't know the farm was like that.
So anyways, you work on that one. I'll work on that one. You'll work on that one.
And what's finger eruption?
those are important. We're going to need those.
Now as you can see, this is where our ants are gonna be. We have this cute little background of this little ant village, and in the background there is a ant city. So it's pretty darn interesting. And you're creating a utopia for ants. Nice, doing our part.
We found out just how hard it is to empty tubes of living ants into a tiny hole on top of an ant farm.
Okay, dump them in, Dad.
Oh, there's one coming on you. No, one got away. One got away.
We'll get them, Amos.
No, and...
I see them. Here's one, Amos. Here's one right here.
Okay. I got it. Got it. No, he fell. He fell. There's a bunch in there.
There's a steeped one right there.
Okay, just so you know, they do bite.
No.
Yeah, because they're red ants, duh. Did you feel
No.
one?
I got him in there. Just as I finally get it, another one jumps out. We can play this game all day.
This guy, it's like ants in pants. You try to get them in, and they always get out.
All right, we got them in there. Are you ready to see the ants that we found in the wild? Ants are pretty incredible little creatures. They can lift up to 20 times their body weight. They feel vibrations in the ground with their feet instead of hearing. They leave special little chemical trails behind them wherever they go that they can tell other ants where they've been with or find their way back home. When they're looking for their way around, they can also remember familiar objects. They can tell where they are using the sun's light and by counting their tiny steps. They smell through their antennae. And ants eat all kinds of things. Some are predators. Some are scavengers, meaning they find their food. Some are herbivores, so they eat plants. And others even bring leaves back into their nest where they grow special fungus that they can eat. Others still take care of another type of bug called aphids. It's almost like a little farm. When the aphids make a sweet liquid, the ants drink it for energy, just like we drink milk or honey. There are somewhere between 1 and 10 quadrillion ants on Earth. That's like roughly 1 million ants per person. And they live on every continent except Antarctica, which I think is pretty funny. Ants are social animals, which means they like to live in groups. Some of those groups are small, but some can be large, even millions of ants in one colony. Each ant in the colony has a special job. Some are in charge of finding the food, some are soldiers, some take care of the eggs, and some dig the tunnels. There's at least one ant in every colony who's called the queen, and it's her job to lay all the eggs. Most of the ants that we see are workers. The workers and soldiers are all females. The males, there's only a few of them, and their only job is to help the queen have babies. Queens can live for many years and have millions of babies. Some colonies have just one queen, but some have many queens. Queens have wings. Male ants also have wings, but we almost never see these ants because they're always in the nest. Some queens can live for up to 30 years, but the worker ants that we see usually only live 1 to 3 years. That makes ants the longest living insects that we know of. When the queen dies, the colony only lasts for a few months after she's gone, because no queen means no eggs, and that means no more ants to replace the ones that are already living. When ants get into our houses or find their way onto our picnic blankets, they can be real pests. Most of them either bite or sting, though some of them are too small to hurt a person. But one ant, called the bullet ant, has the most painful sting of any bug on Earth. Fortunately, they don't live anywhere around here. They live in South America. But they are important to our environment. Ants have lots of important jobs. They eat other pests, like fly eggs. They are food for bigger animals who find them delicious, like birds or anteaters. And in many parts of the world, people even eat them. They turn dead leaves and wood back into dirt. And they dig tiny little tunnels that help water and oxygen reach plants' roots so that plants can grow up strong. They also crawl on flowers, and pollen sticks to their little legs. Just like bees pollinate, ants pollinate too. We had a lot of fun watching our ants dig tunnels in their ant farm today, and looking for wild ants too. We have a rule at our house. If we find ants crawling around in the house, like maybe across the kitchen counter, it's okay to smush them. But when we find them outdoors, we leave them alone because that's their space. It's where they belong. They're just looking for food for their colony or taking care of their eggs. So we may watch them, but we try not to disturb them too much. Now that we have an ant farm in the house, well, that's their space too. So we won't bother them in there, but we will watch them and we'll let you know what they're up to. See you next week.